are so many game engines out there that you can choose from, but I want to talk about why I use Unity and Unreal. Let's have a look. So there are literally dozens of game engines out there that you could use for your game. And I won't pretend to know everything about all of them. Some of them I've never heard of, but there's a really cool list, and I'll put the link in the description, that gives you the name of the game engine and then a very brief overview about what they can do. And as you can see here, all the way down at the bottom of the list, we've got Unity and Unreal, which are the two engines that I predominantly use for some of my projects. And at the moment, depending on what I'm doing, I will decide what engine I choose to use. Both engines have their differences and similarities, and one engine may be really good at a particular feature and another not so good. And that is what generally tends to make the decision for me about which engine I use. So if you go and take a look at Unity a second. Unity is really great, it's awesome and has a lot of great features. And I use this, I would say, at the moment for at least 80% of my projects. But all those projects will have one thing in common, and that is that they're all interactive. Over the years, I've got very familiar with Unity and the way it works. I just love its kind of component-based system, and it makes interaction very easy to set up, and it just kind of works. It's a very simple layout. You know where everything is, and it's really easy to kind of see how things are communicating with each other and how scripts are functioning across various game objects. And I spent several years kind of learning C#, so that's my comfort zone. So if there's any interaction that I want to make in the project that I'm working on, then I'll fall back to my safe zone and use Unity. But one of the weaknesses I think with Unity is that you can still get really great visuals using the high definition render pipeline, but its animation options I think could be a little bit limited. I use timeline quite a lot for my projects and control sequences of animation, and that's great, but it doesn't make it easy to export or record an animation outside of the engine. The way I've got around that at the moment is to press play and it does your animation sequence, and then use OBS alongside that to record the screen. That has its drawbacks because OBS will obviously have an overhead. It will be running in the background, and if, like me, I was running an animation in the HDRP and it was pushing my computer as it was, and then as soon as I opened up OBS and tried to screen record, I just got a jerky animation. So I found that actually getting an animation out of Unity was being a little bit tricky. And there's probably options to, bring in a package from the asset store, but that just feels kind of fiddly, and I didn't want to really faff around with having to bring in another package and then learn how it works, and then struggle to get an animation out of the engine. So to summarize, if I'm going to be working on an interactive project, then hands down, at the moment I'm going to pick Unity because that's what I'm familiar with. I know C#, and I just get how it works, and I can put together very simple interactions, or even some quite complex interactions, quite quickly. So for prototyping and stuff like that, it's absolutely perfect. You can get something up and running really quickly. But if I'm doing an animation, then I'm going to use Unreal. So if the project that I'm working on needs a lot of animation, then I tend to lean more towards Unreal. I like it because it just has a really nice quality to it out the box. You don't have to work very hard at all to get those really high quality visuals, and getting the animation out of Unreal is a lot more straightforward as well. So it just makes the whole process feel a lot kind of smoother and easier to work with. I know Unity has the timeline and things like Cinemachine for the camera control, but I just think Unreal is just a little bit easier to use when it comes to animation, and exporting that animation. And I really love the virtual camera options. So if we're in this scene, we can connect it to our iPhone and use our camera to look around, and you get like that really nice authentic feel. So here you can see one of this month's free assets from Unreal Store, and it's a complete entire environment, all for free this month. This is all kind of set up, this demo scene, for an animation. So if I go ahead and hit play, I don't know how well this is going to work with OBS. Let's have a look. So using the editor here, you can see the frame rate's a little jerky. That's because I'm running OBS in the background. But there's not much really going on here. Just having the camera move around this nice free environment. And that's another good thing I really like about Unreal, is that they do those free assets every month. And the scene we saw prior to this was also free. It was the one of the polar environment packs, and then this is one of the, it's called the medieval docks, and this is all free for this month. So they're really good at giving away content. And speaking of content, another reason why I do a lot of kind of exterior animations involving landscapes, and for me Unreal's a no-brainer in this regard, especially with the connection that they have to Quixel and their Megascans library. So you've got access to literally hundreds of really high quality photogrammetry assets that you can use and bring in and create really nice looking terrains using some real world scanned assets. So all in all, I think the message or the takeaway from this video is that as an artist, you shouldn't really rely on one tool. There's all these free, really cool options available to you, and it's just learning how to leverage the features of those individual applications to make the best of the thing you're trying to build. I see a lot of videos where they're kind of comparing Unity and Unreal and which one's better, and that's an argument that's pretty never going to be resolved. It's just about picking what feels right to you for the thing that you're trying to do, which is why I use Unity for everything that I want to do that's interactive. It's really good at very quickly iterating projects and switching build targets. So if you want to build it for PC, you switch your build. If you want to put it on web, you switch it to WebGL. And, you know, those options are there for Unreal as well, but I think Unity does a really good job of simplifying those processes. And then Unreal is all about, you know, your high quality visuals, the ease and use of its animations system in terms of extracting that animation, and the stuff you can do with its terrain system is exceptionally cool. And I think that's where Unity falls down a little bit as well, is on its terrain system, especially if you're using the high definition render pipeline. They haven't really got a great system for the terrain just yet. I know I was trying to add some grass to my terrain, and I was really struggling, whereas in Unreal it's just kind of easy. So it's worth learning all these applications. I know it's very time consuming. It's not going to be easy by any means, but it does give you the flexibility to really push the boundaries of what you're doing. So hopefully this video has given you some inspiration for how you can use different applications to do different tasks really well. And moving forward in the future, it may seem like a daunting task to kind of learn all these different applications, but once you do, it really does open up a world of creativity for you. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.